Hi, I'm Siege from the Puma podcast team. If you like listening to this show and others created by our team, you can help us keep making them through our Puma Patak tip jar. Our goal is to get 100 of you, our friends, to make a contribution and show your support for the journalism and storytelling that we do. We're happy to keep making shows that you can listen to for free, but making them isn't free, so we appreciate any support you send our way. All you need to do is to go to pumapodcast.com where you'll find a link to the Pumapatak tip jar.
Hi, I'm Franco Luna Puma Podcast. You're listening to Teka Teka News, balitang thinking, hindi breaking. In this episode,
gumawa po tayo ng email address kung saan pwedeng mismong mag-email ng mga complaints yung mga victims nito. Ito pong email address na to ay sa Office of the Secretary. So direct line po siya kasi naiintindihan natin yung embarrassment at yung sensitivity ng matter pag pumupunta sila dun sa mga officials ng school.
we talk about the Department of Education's new hotline dedicated to hearing out complaints on sexual abuse in schools. Has it helped?
The number you dialed is incorrect. For mobile, dial the 11-digit mobile number. For landline, dial the area code followed by the landline number.
What you just heard was a recording of a student group's attempt at contacting the Department of Education's anti-child abuse helpline. The hotline was the DepEd's solution after multiple cases of sexual abuse by teachers made headlines last year. The idea was to connect students directly to the department's child protection specialists. A week after it launched the hotline, DepEd said it received less than 20 reports of abuse in schools. But a youth advocacy group says the hotline isn't quite working as planned.
Sinubukan po namin mag-contact ng isang Sunday at isang holiday at isang regular working day. At on all of those days, wala po kaming na-receive na response galing sa tinawagan po namin. As in, hindi po talaga pinick up yung mga calls.
That's Buwan Sayahon, the communications officer of Enough is Enough. They're a group of students that came together after the uproar over sexual abuse at the Bacoor National High School. As you heard, the group says it tried to contact the hotline several times on 3 different occasions in December. They got the dial tone every time. And yet, data from the DepEd's Child Protection Unit says that 80% of women aged 18 to 24 have experienced harassment at least once, while almost 1 in 5 Filipino children have been sexually violated. So Enough is Enough says it welcomed the idea of a hotline. Here's one again.
Kapag merong time-sensitive na sitwasyon na kailangan talaga ng victim na may mapupuntahan, may malalapitan para sa assistance na kailangan niya, vital po talaga na may unang line of response para maka-reach out sa mga tao na to. Majority po kasi ng sexual abuse cases ay unreported dahil sa fear tsaka sa stigma at na-elevate po to further sa power relations na na-experience ng students under sa mga authority figures ng mga campuses. Kaya ayun po, a proper functional hotline handled by people qualified for psychosocial support can help make assistance more accessible for survivors.
Later on, the DepEd claimed those numbers they gave out were only temporary. So Enough is Enough tried to call the new permanent numbers, but they still couldn't get through. We reached out to the Facebook page ourselves, but got no response either. We're pausing for a quick break now. When we return, Education Secretary Sara Duterte talks about the importance of speaking up. Victims of sexual harassment say schools tend to put their reputations first before resolving cases of abuse. One of the Enough is Enough group says that makes it hard for victim survivors to get help.
Usually, yung mga na-experience ng students, actually yung una nilang gagawin usually ay lalapit po sila sa fellow students at mas best case scenario talaga na makakalapit sila sa someone from the school administration. Medyo intimidating yung processes that most school administrations have so far. Sobrang daming legal requirements para ma-officially recognize yung mga reports ng mga biktima, at most of the times nadidismiss po siya on the grounds na kulang ng ebidensya or hindi naman nangyari sa school grounds.
Let me bring in Professor Teresa Paula de Luna, or TP. She's coordinator of the UP Diliman Office of Anti-Sexual Harassment, one of the first offices of its kind in higher education institutions in the Philippines.
It's very important to have that safe space. We're always afraid of things. So yun yung napansin ko, no, we're afraid to say something, and we're afraid if you say something that people will judge us. So after the frenzy dies down, nagpapa-counseling pa rin sila. Yun ang hindi nakikita. How the people who are really connected and related to the cases, no, lalo na yung mga victims of sexual harassment, undergo healing, no, so counseling, etc. years after that the case is officially and technically resolved.
Enough is Enough says that more than just being a reporting mechanism, the hotline should be a safe space for survivors who have nowhere else to go. And just like in schools, dealing with survivors should come with a lot of training for child protection specialists. Here's TP De Luna again.
That's the dilemma. That's why we always have a psychosocial support along with the formal investigation process. But the CODI has to be well-trained.
CODI stands for Committee on Decorum and Investigation.
Hindi siya pwedeng kahit sino na, trained in gender sensitivity and awareness, trained in case handling, case investigation, the way you interview victims of sexual harassment. Kaya ayaw na nila eh. Ayaw na yung iba. They stop in the middle of the process, the victims of sexual harassment, they stop because they feel like they're being re-victimized. And unearth ulit. Other lawyers, they ask as if nasa court sila. Tapos, so, it should be non-legalistic. There are reliefs outside of administrative functions.
It could very well just be growing pains and technical glitches. But Enough is Enough says more reforms are needed to stop sexual predators in schools. The group is calling for a national registry of offenders where abusers are blacklisted and barred from employment with vulnerable sectors. They also want predators and enablers to have their professional licenses revoked. Here's Buwan again.
The hotline should also be viewed simply as a stepping stone. Dahil para maging truly functional siya in aiding survivors, kailangan din na may maayos na protocol. For example, tumawag yung victim survivor, naka-receive ng report yung hotline, kailangan makakonect din kaagad yung hotline sa necessary na mga teams ng DepEd para maka-take action in, for example, connecting to the school administration, immediately launching an investigation after receiving those reports.
If you or anyone you know has experienced sexual harassment at school, you can reach out to the DepEd at weprotectlearners@deped.gov.ph or 8637-2306. That's 8637-2306. Here's Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte with the final word.
The only way na maka-intervene kami to stop the exploitation, the abuse, will be kung alam namin na merong nangyayaring ganyan. Speak up and speak to us. Speak to the Department of Education. If you are a teacher, you have no business drinking alcohol with your students. And if you are a teacher na you are attracted to the student that you are drinking with, that is preliminaries to what you want to do to the child. You are a person of authority. You are not supposed to be biased in your dealings with your students.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. Again, I'm Franco Luna. This episode was edited by Carl Sayat and produced by Kat Ventura. If you like this episode, share it with a friend or two. And of course, don't forget to follow Teka Teka and Puma Podcast wherever you listen. At para sa mga mahilig manood sa YouTube, Puma Podcast na rin po kami doon. Just search Puma Podcast and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening.